I will be your panel chair for this session. But before we get on to that, I need to introduce a very special person. Standing right beside me is Howard Frank, all the way from WA, Camera Electronic, who is the sponsor for this category. I'll pass it over to you, Howard.
Thanks, Carly. Thanks, everybody, for being here in lovely Melbourne for the 2017 ARPP APRA Awards. Lovely to be here again. This is our third year sponsoring travel. We're a family business from Perth, second generation, myself and my brother Saul. We've got 2 shops in Perth, but also have a great website you can check out, and happy to send at no charge anywhere in Australia for APRA members. So love to see all of you and help you however we can. We've got a stand here as well, and good luck for all the images. Thank you.
Thank you, Howard. We love you. He's got great stuff. I've bought stuff over there too. Thank you. Appreciate your support, as always. Do you want to buy a book?
Do you want to buy more?
I'll come and buy more. When they get me off this panel chair, I'm going to come buy stuff. They'll deliver to my panel chair seat. Yes. How good is that? That's great. Thank you very much, Howard, and welcome to all the people listening in online for this travel category. I'll give you all the preamble. So the travel photography involves an area's landscape, people, cultures, customs and history. It may express or reference the feeling of a time and place, or simply portray a land or its people in its natural state. All destinations will be considered in the light of being travel photography, even if the location in the photograph is the same as where the print judging is being held. Entries should communicate some aspect of travel, but the judges will be asked to interpret this broadly. So entries may be commissioned or self-commissioned. Entries may include single capture, in-camera multiple exposures, stitched panoramas, HDR and focused stacked images, provided they do not materially affect the authenticity of the image. The content of the image must not be altered. There can be no additions or deletions, and no misleading the viewer by manipulation of the tonal and colour balance to disguise elements of an image or to change the content or context. The images must be free of manipulation other than ordinary changes that might be made using conventional darkroom techniques, such as spotting, dust and scratches, conversion to black and white, adjusting contrast and other levels. Composite images and photos with special effects and backgrounds are not permitted. Cropping is permitted, as are perspective corrections. Okay, after all that, we're all okay with the description. We have a wonderful set of judges, I might add. We have 3 Grand Masters on our panel today, and I'll introduce the panel from the far end. Seat number 1, we have Julie Ewing, Master Photography number 3, all the way from Melbourne. Then we have David Oliver, Grand Master of Photography and Fellow of the Institute in seat number 2, New South Wales, born, oh no, bred, not born, born in London. Ooh. Faux pas on my part, beg your pardon. Annie Payne, born in Melbourne, but now a New South Wales lady. Welcome, Master of Photography. How many bars? None, just a master. Beside Annie, I did split you up, Peter, as requested, not sitting next to Mr. Oliver. We've got Peter Rossi. What awards have you got under your belt right this second? You won Portrait Photographer last year and highest scoring print. That's enough, yeah, move on. And beside him we have our El Presidente, Mr. Vittorio Natoli. I can't roll the R's, I apologise, but also a Grand Master of Photography. Now, we've got some, first reserves. The current travel photographer of the year, I do believe, Steve Scalone, waiting in the wings. And next to him, Milton Garn. Welcome, guys. So we're going to get this underway. Travel category. Now, out the back, we've got Nellie, Don, and Angela. Great team. We're working well here in the Nikon room. Do we feel it? Do we feel the Nikon love? I wish we got a free Nikon. I'll work on that. All right, let's have first print, please. dangerous. Thank you, judges. This print has scored 78. And I'll ask David for a comment, please.
Yeah, it's just the time of the day. It's just a little flat, and I think with these sorts of pictures, we need just that little bit more mood to create something more special for this type of work.
David, sorry. Next print, please. I have an assistant panel chair. Greg Farmer's here, who is the current Emerging Photographer of the Year in New South Wales. And we've just got to get our synergy together. We haven't worked together yet. So bear with us as we work out the DJ thing, and we'll get there. Scores are in. Print scores 81, Silver Award. Thank you. And I might ask Julie for a comment, please.
A really interesting shot. One wonders how the people appeared up on that big rock, and that's what you're drawn to, is there's little trees, but there's also tiny little people there, and you wonder how many steps have they climbed. It was just an interesting, beautiful travel shot.
Thank you, Julie. Next print, please. We've got a nice crowd here in the Nikon room. Hello, crowd. Yay. Hello, crowd. And hello to our live streamers. There is a chat room there. I hope you're chatting away. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you're wearing. Tell us what you're doing while you're listening to live stream. I'm into that sort of stuff. And if you are in Melbourne, come on down to the Melbourne Exhibition Function Centre, right near Rod Laver Arena. And come and see all our trade. Thank you, judges. This print has averaged 77. Annie, could I get a comment from you, please?
Yeah, I really like the colour palette that the photographer has brought to this image. However, I found that the horizon line cutting right through the middle there was quite distracting.
Thank you, Annie. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. This print has averaged 87. And hands go up, and I love it. Well, what I'll do, I might take Julie's challenge, because you're at 92, knowing that you're not alone, and he's with you at 90, and you have 88, 83, 84. So go for it.
Okay, my learned peeps, let's give this one a go. The subtlety, just the shadows, the dimension of light as it goes through, the beautiful soft palette of the sky behind, then with the greys coming through to the darks, just the individual figures. It's just got so much story in it, so much, I think there's so much to read into it, and you just can look at it for ages to try and work out how it happened and what's actually happening within. I think it's absolutely stunning, and I really think this is deserved of a gold. It's just beautifully seen, beautifully captured, beautifully printed, superb.
Peter Rossi, could I hear from you, please?
I agree. I gave it 83 once, and I was drawn to it because I have to analyse how can this be, how is it happening, when I worked out the posts and realised there's, well, who knows how it was, it doesn't matter how it was achieved, whether it was double reflections from glasses or double exposure in the camera. But once I got past the intrigue of, wow, how did they do this? This is interesting. I found it didn't have enough interest. Yes, I can see all the different walks of life, and waiting for, is there something else? This to me would possibly be like that for 10 hours every day. They haven't seemed to have absolutely clicked at some decisive moment in time. But yes, I think it's well worthy of silver that I gave, 83.
All right, Annie, you're in the gold range as well.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth a gold. It's it evokes such a lot of emotion, as well as being pretty to look at, and then it's got all these other layers where you're just going in and makes you ask a lot of questions. There's little families in there. I love Peter's description of the little walks of life and relating that to travel category. I think it's a really strong travel image and definitely deserves a gold.
All right. You want to say something, David? Okay, sure, I'll let you do that.
Yeah, because I sort of sat on the fence at 88, and I'm happy to go into gold because this is a picture that's taken me and taken all of us to somewhere where we haven't been before. We haven't seen this, so it's just totally original, and we're all questioning how was it done, and maybe it was just there, and I think that's fantastic. Even if it could be a reflection, not too sure, but it doesn't matter. It's just fantastic. And then we've got all these little stories happening within every little frame. And I'm really happy that this one's been discussed because I sort of wussed a bit at 88, so I'm coming up into gold.
All right, Julie, your right of reply.
Thank you. And to answer your question, Peter, about was it taken at the right moment, I do believe it was. I think that just the perfect moment with the lighting. There is a horizon in the background and it's so soft and subtle but in perfect position. People are just walking in their walk of life, travelling to and fro wherever they're going. And I think just captured so perfectly, seen just so beautifully. I think it's very creative. Absolutely deserved of a gold.
All right then, well it's currently averaging 87 and Julie's score of 92 will stay in place. Other judges please rescore. We have on average 90 gold award. Lovely. Thank you judges. I'll accept that score. Next print please. Thank you, judges. Print scores 83, silver award. Vittorio, can I have a comment from you, please?
Yeah, I think it's a well-seen shot. I like all the detail, the people walking around, the composition, the little bit of extra light on the cathedral or church, whatever it is. It's nicely seen.
Thank you. Next print, please. So if you've just joined us, we are judging the travel category here in room 4. Room 3 is currently having their lunch break. They broke a little bit earlier, so that's why there's no pictures on the screen. But you can come in here, sit with us. We're the cool kids. We're doing our job, having fun. And we have a score of 81, a silver award. Thank you. I might ask Peter, could you give a quick comment, please? Constructive comment on this image.
As it sits, I don't know what more could be done. I would like to investigate the whole circle, I imagine. I'm querying, was it a complete circle? Why did they crop it so tight? But maybe that's I haven't been there. So no, I think they've handled that well. I love the saturation of it and the detail. They've held all of that. Yeah,
Thank you.
nice.
Appreciate that, Peter. Next print, please. Let it go. Thank you, judges. Print has scored 79 and it will go for review. But David, could I have a quick comment for educational purposes?
Yeah, look, I just would have loved to have seen a bit more contrast in this image, just to lift it, because there is a lot of detail there. But there's a flatness in the black, I think, that's probably held us back. But yeah, that just one opinion, I guess.
No, thank you, David. Appreciate it. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print has scored 83, silver award. Very nice. Vic, would you like to give us a quick comment, please?
I like the tones. It's very subtle. The lines. It's very the palette is very beautiful, very fine.
Thank you. Next print, please. This print scores 81, silver award. Thank you. Julie, can I ask you for a comment? You're scoring 81 as well?
I thought it was a lovely black and white print. I think I gave it a silver award because I did enjoy the tonality of the black and white. For anything higher, I just was looking for some other element within, but very enjoyable.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. This print has scored 87, silver distinction. And all of our judges are in that silver distinction range. Can I have a comment? Maybe, yeah, Peter, thanks.
I think this is symbolic of what travel is all about. Travelling to the unknown, seeing a destination but not knowing it, and there's that anticipation of what will we find, and very clearly put through. It's lovely.
Thank you. Let's have next print, please. Well, especially because you know life. Thank you. Got the scores, and this print has scored 79. So we'll go for review, but we'll get a comment, Annie, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I feel like this has a very classic composition and that works well. But the reason I stayed in a professional standard, not in the Silver Award, is because it drops off the focus in the top left-hand corner, which I found just wasn't enough to bring it up.
Thank you, Annie. Next print, please. Need a score, please, Vittorio. I'm going to crack the whip on you. Thank you, judges. This print has averaged 80, a silver award. Thank you. And Vic, I'll ask you for another comment because you were at 82 on that average.
I think it's a very busy, very travel photo, but the intention, the subject in the foreground works for me, and the whole movement and the whole burden of whatever's happening there. I find it interesting.
Thank you. Let's go next print, please. And just a reminder, this is the travel category, sponsored by Camera Electronic. And I'll just have to find out what stand number they are. I know they're at the front over there, and they got stuff to sell. I like when you go and you can buy stuff. So go and see Howard and Saul. Oh, here we go. They're there, but there's no number. They're at the back of the Olympus stand. So Olympus stand is just there. Go and see Howard. I think Saul's there as well, and go buy stuff. Maybe you could buy it 555. 15. Thank you, Louise. Stand 15. Thank you, judges. Print scores 83, a silver award. You can challenge, David. I'll accept your challenge at 88. We got 3 judges in the 80s and a 78.
Okay. The composition is working perfectly with the backdrop, and that's sort of giving it that lovely, beautiful symmetry. But it's all those expressions coming together, which are quite amazing, and the guy in the foreground just makes it. You know, the howling in the foreground, or, you know, he's obviously maybe the priest or whatever, but he's the one. He's conducting this, and everyone else is sort of looking on and following the, which I presume is the bride. But yeah, no, it's just a little slice of life, and really well captured, great composition, And again, it's something we haven't seen before.
Annie, can I hear from you, please, at 78?
Yeah, I don't disagree that the composition is lovely and the expressions, but I just didn't want to go beyond professional practice because I feel like it's so bright and flattened out in the lighting that I can't really see all that detail. I'm just kind of blown away by this flash of light, so that's why I kept it where I did.
Okay. Do any of our judges need to add anything to the debate? If not, I'll go back to David. No? David, right of reply.
Yeah, look, it is a busy place, and that's the lighting that's there, which I really love, actually. It's very rich and warm, which you'd expect to see maybe in that situation. But it's just the detail and those expressions that I was captured by, and the story behind all those bits and pieces in the foreground. So, yeah, I thought it was really well seen, and just such a beautiful composition. What's it scored again?
It scored 83.
83, yeah. No, I'd love to see it get a few extra marks.
Okay. Will you sit back on 88 for a moment, David? Other judges, please rescore now. And it's moved up to 85. It's a silver distinction. There you go. Thank you, team. Can I have a blank screen, please? Judges, we get to have a lunch break. So what I'm going to let you go and do is have lunch. I think that next door there's some munchies for you. It is 1:37. You must be back here at 2 p.m. and we will start shortly thereafter. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We will now take a break from the travel category and be back to you very shortly. Yes. Yes. was too, but then I went. So we're going to get started shortly again in this room. Julie, I'll have you back on again. Annie, I'll have you back in place. I'm going to give you a break, Vic, for a mo. Steve Scalone, I'm going to get you into chair number 5. Peter Rossi, you're back in only because I like you. If I didn't like you, I wouldn't put you there. Bread top. All right. Now, well, David, do you want to be back on or do you need a break? You're all right. We'll jump in and we'll get you working. Now, where's me? So I'll just change Steve Scalone. Work with me, David. We're under control. Sit down. We're going to watch. No. Not live stream. Oh, I'm security. Chill pill. It's all right. I'm looking after him. I'm watching.
There's one at the end we want him to do.
They weren't allowed to bring catering in. No.
That's why she's got contraband in her bag.
Yeah, so I brought my own. Yeah, bring your own. BYO. Yeah. Well, if you like, I do have an Eclipse, sugar-free. Pass them around. BYO. that's why they've just stopped it now. I like a snake. I like gummy bears are good because they're small. You can just munchy munch, and they've got a nice texture to them. We'll go to Costco and get a kilo bag, shall we? Room 4 kilo bags. Yeah, give it to Annie. That's all right. That's right. I have another 3 packs in my hotel room. Kath and Ellen. Oh. Room 4, I'd like to just, thank you. Yeah, panel that. I'll give you a star. We'll see, I'll leave. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to round 2 of the travel category. This category is sponsored by Camera Electronic, and we thank them for their continued support. And of course, our platinum sponsors this weekend, Olympus, Aeon and Panasonic. My name is Kylie Lyons. I am your panel chair. I'm continuing on in this role. They haven't sacked me yet, so we must be doing okay. Beside me, I have Greg Farmer, who will be my able assistant and cut-it-up DJ on the microphone. In our room, our judges are Julie Ewing, way down the end. Wave to the crowd, say hello. Then we have David Oliver and Annie Payne, both from New South Wales. Then Peter Rossi came down from the warmth of Cairns down into the icy cold, yes, suffering dearly. And then Steve Scalone, once upon a time from Newcastle, now a Melbourneite, so he's used to this cold. We should be right. Now, we have some new first reserves. We got Mike Langford. Now, Mike, you can't join our parliament anymore because you are a New Zealander / Australian, so you're okay. You're welcome in room 4, though. He's a Kiwi. And then Milton Garn, he's over there, first reserve as well. And Vittorio, I gave him a break so he can go and press some flesh, because he's the president. You've got to do things like that. All right, so we are judging the travel category. Judges, are you ready? Our new print handlers are Kath and Ellen. Girls, you ready? All right, let's go for the first print of the second session, travel. Go. Thank you, judges. Print scores 82, silver award. And we'll throw Steve in the deep end. Could we have a comment, please?
Beautiful capture, well composed. My favourite part about the image is the red pop of both the person that exists with the sign. Well done.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print scores 82, silver award. Peter, can I ask for a comment from you, please?
I absolutely love the pull of the whole image. The perspective is its strength. Possibly an idea could be to just have a little play with your cropping tools and maybe have a look at cropping out the slightly out of focus 10% around the perimeter. May improve it.
Okay.
But at least look at it.
Thank you, Peter. Next print, please. I do have bios for all our judges. I might see how we go if I can read you some of them. Thank you, judges. By average, we have a score of 79. Yes, you can challenge. Thank you, Julie. You're on 84. Our other judges are all in that high professional practice scores of 78, 77, 79, 76, but I'll take your challenge.
Yeah, I strongly believe this is deserved of a silver. It's a beautifully crafted black and white, but I love the leading lines in it as the bridge leads you out, and there's the little figure on the end which just popped it for me into the silver category. It's such a beautiful, serene sort of scene, and having all those lines converging out at the end of the pier just nailed it with the little figure. Let's give it a
Steve, can I
silver.
hear from you, please? 76. Oh,
Professional.
try again.
Yeah.
Sorry, try again.
You're right. I do agree it is professional practice. I feel that where it's let down is perhaps the technical execution of it. The contrast, perhaps the vignetting a little bit. Yet again, professional practice. Yeah, but I am listening.
Yes, please, Peter.
Just
Thank you.
further on from what Steve has said, the technicalities of it, I feel the whole thing is over sharpened. The bridge, it just feels too unnaturally sharp, and some of the selection and the feathering around. Julie, while you're in there, see the little signpost in the middle? You can see the ghost around it. As soon as I feel I can see the hand of the retoucher or the post-production, it starts to turn back to a technical piece of thing, and the head kicks in instead of the heart leading, and so that they're killers for me. And that's 79. Had I not found those two things that put it off for me, I would have gone to silver.
Okay, Julie, you get a right of reply.
I don't see the over-sharpening of the bridge. I just think it's actually got a beautiful sharpness throughout the image so that we can see the figure down at the end. So obviously it would need to be taken on, the appropriate aperture and to attain that focus throughout. So I actually really enjoy that sharpness so that we can See the figure at the end. The tinsy-wincy little halo, I hadn't noticed that until you pointed it out. It doesn't mean it drops 10 points for me. I still think it is a beautiful print. I think the way the leading lines just all lead down to just that little figure at the end, for me, won me over for a silver.
Thank you, Julie. You can sit back for a moment on 84. Other judges, please rescore now. And it does move up by majority, a 79, average 80. So it will go for review. There's still life in there yet. Thank you, judges. Let's go next print, please. I'm going to read one of the bios for David Oliver. Who wants to know about David Oliver? No one. Oh. Yeah, how long is this? We're supposed to give a 100-word bio. Some of these are about 300, I swear. Fair income. I counted mine. That's all right. Yeah, I think what it was is like David's daughter Claire probably wrote this. David didn't. So it says, all the technique in the world doesn't compensate for the inability to notice. That was Elliot Erwitt. Whether it's a moment between a bride and a groom, capturing an executive at her desk, or a landscape from a chopper over the middle of Australia, David views life through a lens, and at times through an aeroplane window. Sydney, London, Scotland, Ireland, Singapore, New York. There are no boundaries to where David and Claire's discerning clientele will take them to make sure their precious moments are captured by this sensitive, spontaneous style. David's ability to capture incredible images has been recognised not only by clients but by the photographic profession, where he is a Grand Master of Photography in the Australian Institute of Professional Photography and an ambassador for Nikon and Epson. Oh, clap, clap. That's nice. It's nice, isn't it? It's nice. Yes, thank you. Lovely. And judges, we now have a silver award in front of us, 84. So it will go for review, quite possibly to move into the next category. So I might ask Annie, would you have a comment for me, please?
Yeah, I found this a very enjoyable image. There's so much depth to it, and my eye is just taken through each of the layers up through the middle. I thought it was very well handled as well.
Thank you, Annie. Let's go next print, please. And we can tell you all about Annie too. So Annie Payne co-owns and runs Milk and Honey Photography, a portrait and wedding photography studio based in Sydney for the past 20 years. Annie is a photography graduate from RMIT and has actively been involved with the AIPP for 20 years. She is a licentiate member and gained her Master of Photography status in 2001. Annie is the current chairman of jurors for AIPP New South Wales and is a regular state and national judge for APPAs and at various tertiary institutions. She was also one of the 2017 head-on judges. Let's thank Annie. Let's thank Annie for being here. Isn't that nice? All right, get some scores in, judges. Thank you. This print scores 79. And again, we'll go for review at the end of the category. So let's ask maybe, Steve, can I ask you for a comment, please?
Technically, the image is handled beautifully. It's printed lovely. What I'm finding is that there is a disconnect between the subject and the viewer. So perhaps that decisive moment needs to be worked on.
Thank you, Steve. Next print, please. Who wants to hear about Peter Rossi? So Peter is a portrait commercial photographer in Cairns. He and his partner Charmaine Heyer operate Highlights Photography. Peter has been entering APPA since 1993 and has been an APPA judge for many, many years. His love for photography, searching for beauty in everything, and entering APPA have taken him on a journey of exploration and invention of new techniques and evolving styles. Peter enjoys telling stories with images and is always striving to appeal to an audience's emotions. Okay, take a breath now. Peter counts among his accomplishments the AIPP Professional Photographer of the Year in 2001. the Portrait Photographer of the Year 2001, 2002, 2003, 2005, 2007, 2014, 2016. The AIPP Creative Photographer of the Year in 2010, 2013, 2015. And he won the highest scoring print at APA in 2001, 2005, 2013 and 2016. Yeah, like, you're just high achiever, aren't you there, Peter? Can we all welcome Peter to our panel? And this print judges has scored 83 Silver Award. Challenge. Thank you, David. Take your challenge at 88. All other judges are in that silver range.
Yeah, it's just the level of detail and the journey that we're going on here, you know, through the those little icebergs or whatever you call them in the foreground. But it's just, and it takes you all the way up into that range. Then you've got the light hitting those mountains and, hills in the foreground and then mountains in the background. You've got all these different layers of lighting that is making this image really, really interesting. And I just thought it was a little bit better than a silver, so I'm happy for you guys to come up with me the silver distinction.
Steve, can I hear from you, please? 81.
I do agree with you in terms of the depth. It's luscious detail all the way through. What really kind of pulls it back for me is the flatness of the image, the tones. If we were to do the zone system, for example, I just feel that the crisp whiteness of the snow isn't perhaps represented.
All right, let's hear, please, from maybe Julie.
I agree with both of you. I do. I really enjoyed it, but the same with the whites, just because it is all snow. Yes, it's extraordinary to have white on white on white and white and have so much detail, but just to not have it quite so muddy.
All right. If there's no other comments from Peter or Annie, I'll go back to David. Right of reply.
Yeah, I guess I'm seeing it differently. I'm seeing that softness, and that's what I'm enjoying, that subtle softness and the detail. And I think the contrast would have brought up too much in the shadows, so I guess I'm looking at it just as a high-key landscape. But it's just that journey that you're taken on all the way through from foreground to background. It's technically beautiful.
All right, thank you, David. David's score of 88 will stay in place. Our other judges may rescore, and they may change their initial score if they wish after listening to the comments. And by majority, we now have 84. So it will go for review at the end of the category. Thank you very much. Accept that score. Next print, please. Hello, people in room 4. Audience participation, hi. Good on you. Good that you're awake, listening. Good. Lovely. And hello to our live streamers. If you can Google my phone, you can text message me and tell me how you're going, or get on the chat room, because otherwise I get in trouble if I look at my phone. So I'm going to be quiet. Shh. Now, our other judges, Steve and Julie, obviously didn't put in a bio because I've got nothing to read about you. You're a late entry. I could read about myself. Thank you, judges. We have a score of 81, Silver Award. Nice. And I might ask Peter for a comment, please.
How could it be improved is possibly what you may be asking for a hint to.
Or comment of value.
I love the symmetry of it, absolutely. I almost wonder if that is the expected or the common thing to do, is to get everything lined up. Possibly it would be interesting to play with time of day and to play with non-symmetry. Completely, but I know it was designed symmetrically, so it's logical to capture it like that. They've done a great job for that time of day, and picking a centre of interest, which is in a strong position, moving
Thank you. Appreciate
into
those
the
comments.
space.
Works well. Thank you, judges. Next print, please. I won't call you Shirley. Don't call me Shirley. Scores are in, and this print has scored 79, and we'll go for review. I might ask David, could I have a quick comment, please?
Yeah, I think just to improve this and take it to that next level is to straighten up that building. It's just sloping off to the right. Also, we've got a little highlight triangle coming in from the left. So just little things like that would have improved this, and just maybe a little bit of contrast so we could see some more detail into those shadow areas.
Thank you, David. Next print, please. So this is the travel category, of course, proudly sponsored by Camera Electronics. I can tell you about me because I stuck to the 100 words of the bio. It was actually 103. So Kylie Lyons is a professional photographer for over 24 years, operating her boutique studio in Narellan, New South Wales, photographing weddings, portraits and commercial assignments. Kylie joined the AIPP in 1999 and has served as New South Wales State President, National AIPP President, National Chairman, and is now a current National Board member. She has been judging and panel chairing for over 12 years. Kylie is a Master of Photography with 1 gold bar and a Master of Photography with NZIPP. She's won many silver and gold awards and has also achieved New South Wales AIPP Portrait Photographer of the Year 2000 and New South Wales AIPP Open Category winner in 2009. That's me. This print has scored 83 and is a silver award. Nice. Comment from Steve.
Beautiful capture, well seen. I love the repetition between the poster and the actual person. I thought it was a great result. Well done.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print scores 83, silver award. Comment from Julie, please.
Oh, I really love this. To capture someone bungee jumping, so perfect travel story, but also as a scenic, beautiful landscape. I think it ticked all the boxes. I really enjoyed that. And I think the lines of the staircase coming down leading to the boat, the rope coming in from the other corner, and then just having this beautiful water on the other side. Perfect.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
No, you may not. Short, sharp, succinct, we were told that. But thank you, Peter, anyway. Next print, please. I'm cracking my whip. Oh, I'm nasty. Thank you, judges. Print has scored 83, silver award. Thank you, Peter. Peter's on 88 and can indeed challenge. I'll accept your challenge there. Go for it, please. Yeah, you're not alone, Peter. That's one thing we can say.
I forgot. Okay, firstly, the choice of the square is so beautiful. It adds to the strength of the image and the infinity line or the infinity point right down the end. So that just sort of ends in a most beautiful place. So it probably wasn't, well, who knows what type of camera, but square is beautiful. And the composition, everything is leading you away, but it was always a quirk in great pictures like this. And the child on the left is just diverting your attention maybe back, and it's sort of cyclic, taking you around. The walking stick coming in, that was just slightly, that was keeping me out of gold. Otherwise, but I don't know if I should be mentioning the negatives, but it's a extremely well seen, and I don't think you could set that up if you were allowed to set it. If you were setting it up, you couldn't place the people in better positions, except for maybe the person with the walking stick. But man, it's travel, and to have caught that, then other people wouldn't have been juxtapositioned against other certain elements. So it's extremely silver distinction for sure. Please, guys.
All right, well, I'm going to ask Steve for a comment first at 78.
I love certain elements of this image. I adore them, actually. Like the man with the walking cane that's cut in half via the wall is perfect. The lampshade or the kind of coach light that's above, and the two figures in the centre. I guess the biggest perhaps issue that I see is the handling of the highlights. And perhaps the flatness of the image, and also the other distracting elements. I am listening. I'm willing to come up into the silvers, but yeah.
Annie, thank you.
Yeah, I am going up, and I think it's got so much, and I'm glad that I've had a chance to have a longer look at it. I actually really love the guy with the walking stick. I think that really adds some authenticity to it as well, and all of the elements of the other people as well, because otherwise it would be quite a cliche kind of picture. So I feel like all those elements add a more realness to it. And I also love the square crop, and yeah, it's beautiful.
All right, we'll ask David for a comment. He was also on 88.
Yeah, I think the highlights have been handled beautifully, because they need to be as they are there, because you've got detail there. You've also got that subject on the left-hand side who's just sitting perfectly in that highlight. So if we'd had them too strong, too much contrast, it would have blown him out. But the highlights, the foreground and the texture is matching the sky, and I think it's been handled really, really well. I love the mystery of that guy coming around the corner with a cane. You want to know more about him, but no, it's a decisive moment. It's beautiful.
Peter, you get a right of reply.
The choices that this photographer has made, I know I can't change, can I?
No, you cannot.
Right. So I'm prompting everybody to go to gold, except me. Doesn't that sound silly? But it's growing on me all the time, and I'm actually really starting to love the half a guy with the cane. Yes, there is a mystery to it. There's also, going back to choices of the photographer, the choice to give it an old vintage warmth to the black and white. It just adds to the timelessness of this place. It probably, it had to be shot in the last 2 years, yet it could have been there and shot 100 years ago. So everything in the magnificent composition, look where the lamp is, it's as if it's either magically they've just stood there, but I think more they have calculated, weighted, and they should be rewarded for it.
All right then, thank you, Peter. Your score of 88 will stay in place. Other judges rescore now. We now have an average of 89, a silver distinction. And it will go for review at the end of the category. So there's a possibility it could move into the gold section. And just out of interest, you had 2 judges move into the gold range from that conversation. So very well done. Thank you, judges. Next print, please. I think we'll do that swap now. Yeah, I'll get him. Thank you, judges. Print scores 88, silver distinction, with a challenge from Annie, who's on 92. Thank you, Annie.
Yeah, it's very exciting to have an image take you to a new place, not literally, but like emotionally. And this is what I'm finding in this image. I don't even really understand what's going on there. I think it poses a lot of questions, which is great, but I'm assuming reflections and in-camera double exposures. And I'm loving the iconography that's associated in the image and the composition and the final kind of creative result of that as well. I think there's so many layers included in here. And then we've got that, the kind of classic line-up family portrait while travelling, and then the iPhone kind of pose at the front. And then we've also got the temple elements, and then the double exposure bringing in that as well. So just seeing so many layers there, taking me right into that place. And for me, it's very unique and worthy of gold.
Peter, can I hear from you, please?
My first thought was that I'd love to see into the shadows a little more. And I know it's the drama of that contrast, the pure blacks and pure whites there, the track that's pulling you to the people, and then the lovely... I'm talking myself up, aren't I? And then the lovely dome of the other white at the top there. Yes, and I gave it 84, and I will go up. There's something there about going to gold, though. For me, it's that I'm just slightly uncomfortable with. But I'm going up for sure. Thanks.
Right. Well, we might hear from Julie or David, who are both on 88.
Yeah, no, I'm listening to everything everyone's saying, because I found it equally as intriguing. From back here, it almost looks like a gingerbread house with that fake snow on top, the icing that they put on it. And I thought, what is that? And then you go up and you just see, like, is this double exposure? Is it reflection? Is it? You just question everything, which makes it even more fabulous. Really well seen, really well captured and presented. So I could be talked to a gold here if you can give me some more.
David, have you got anything to add?
And also has this amazing composition. In the foreground, the guy with his arms, that forming that, that triangle there. And the shadow on the left that complements the shadows, top left and bottom right. If it's done in camera, brilliant. I don't care how it was done. It's just a beautiful piece. And I'm happy to go in the gold category with you.
Thank you, David. Back to Annie, right of reply.
Yeah, I feel like this image is also very timeless as well, even though we've got the hints of the now about it. And the other thing that I absolutely love about it is that the photographer who's taken the image, not the one in the image, seems to be very invisible. They're just floating there and have found this image and presented it to us, and that is what is brilliant about it.
Thank you, Annie. Now, Annie has scored the image 92 and is asking for a gold. Can our other judges rescore, please? We do have a gold, average 90. Yay! Nice work. I'm going to do a judge change. Steve, rotate, if you wouldn't mind, with Milton. And I can tell you all about Milton because he handed his bio in. So I'll accept that score, ask for the next print. And I can tell you that Milton is a London-born, Sydney-based photographer, mentor and educator, and the creator of the album Atelier Workshop. He's deeply passionate about weddings, travel and golf. But while he has won several awards for his wedding and travel work and was a finalist in the Head-On Landscape Prize in 2016, he is still to win an award for golf. Milton is an associate member of the AIPP and has served New South Wales Council from 2013 to 2016 and was the New South Wales President in 2014 to 16. Welcome, Milton. Welcome. Clap, clap, clap. Come on, peeps. Yeah, thank you. See? Audience participation. That's what we like. Keep you on your toes. Thank you, judges. Print scores 83, silver award. Challenge from Annie. Annie's on 88. Now you've got 81, 83, 84 and 78.
Yeah, I love the composition and the use of the location that this photographer has chosen. The shapes and the activity going on in there all really works together, and also especially the time of day and the lighting that they've chosen. It's a very high silver, in my opinion.
Thank you. Can I ask Milton for a comment, please?
Yeah, I do like the composition in the image. I think I found when I got up closer to the figures in there, I was hoping for something a bit more, I don't know, a bit more exciting happening. As it stands, I think there were, the image works really well. I love the tonality of it as well. The colours, a beautiful time of day. Yeah, I found it lacking a little something, but I was probably a little harsh in the 70s. I can definitely come in silver.
All right, Peter, do you have anything you'd like to add to the commentary?
Not a lot, but I am imagining if there was another 20% of, I know it would change the whole nature of the picture, but I think that would be great. Everything's leading to out there, and it could be cut off just a little bluntly, but that's just a personal perspective.
Thank you, Peter. Annie's right of reply.
So I actually, for what Milton was saying about not a lot going on in there, I actually feel like it is all about the family and the stillness of being on holidays and travelling and the realness of what they're doing. And considering it's a found capture, I think that they're all really beautifully positioned. There's a bit of a roller coaster feel going through there and their everyday movements. And I would love this to be taken of my family on holidays, if it was of me. So I feel like that there's so many elements and layers that the photographer has brought to that.
Thank you, Annie. Now, it's currently sitting on 83. Annie's score of 88 stays in play. Other judges, please rescore. And it now has a majority score, 84. And we'll go for review at the end. And Annie, it did actually average 85. So there we go. Thank you. Let's go next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print has scored, by majority, 84 silver award. A challenge from Milton. And for your benefit, Milton, it did average 85. So I'll let you challenge on 92.
Okay, so that's encouraging. So everyone's loving the print. Look, this blew me away when I first went up to it. I mean, where do you start? I mean, it just looked three-dimensional. The printing is just absolutely exquisite. The colours and the tones throughout, like that bright sun in the background is just really beaming out, but then in the water you can see that beautiful green in there. There's beautiful sharpness throughout the image, and in terms of, this is the travel category, and in terms of, really transporting you to another place, I'd love to know where this is and go and have a visit. I mean, this image just really literally leapt off the page, and I know that you already like it, so I'm just asking you to come up a few more points. Join me in gold where I think this image deserves to be.
David, could I get a comment from you, please?
Totally agree. It's almost like two pictures, though. The picture on the right-hand side, for me, is just so subtle and soft, and then all of a sudden we're sort of led out of the image by that strong highlight in between the two ranges, and it tends to be overpowering. It's almost like, I wish it wasn't there. But look, I've given it 83, and I think I'm happy with that. But to go to gold, I think we need more content to match, and the content on the left for me doesn't tend to match the content on the right-hand side of that image.
Okay. Peter, would you like to add something?
I think just possibly crisping up the village would then make them fit, and I think that's what's missing, because you get pulled out of that reflective area and you don't want to come back. And I think the village is more than just, it's an integral part of the subject. It's not just there to glide past and go out and never come back. I'd love it to be bright enough for me to go down the stream, explore the sky, and then come back to where these people live and what they enjoy. And it's just slightly subdued. But I gave it 84, and we're talking exceeds normal professional practice, which it definitely does.
Okay.
But I don't think it's gold for that reason for me.
All right. If we have no other comments from Julie or Annie, I'll go back to Milton for right of reply.
Appreciate your comments. No, I do, but I actually think, to your point, David, I think the brightness, normally I'd say that if bright spots can be really distracting, but I think in this case it works because that's what this image is about. It's about this little town which could be in the back end of nowhere. We don't know where it is, but it just has this amazing weather system around it. And I think, I look at this image and I feel, imagine living there and waking up and looking out, and that's what you see. It's just magical. So I think in this case that brightness really works. And I also feel it is quite balanced. I mean, I think you can split that down the middle, and I think that having the brightness on the left and the village on the right, they do balance each other out quite well. So I'd certainly encourage you to come up a bit.
All right, thanks, Milton. Your score of 92 stays in play, and our other judges can rescore. It's a majority 84 at the moment, but an average of 85. And it has moved up to an 86 silver distinction. Well done. Thank you. On that note, Peter, I'm going to give you a rotation and invite Mr. Langford. Rotate. Thank you. And Mike Langford, all the way from across the Dutch, is joining us. Let's have next print, please. Yes, you have to go that way. Thank you, judges. Print scores 80, silver award. Thank you. Next print, please. Oh, yes, beg your pardon. Comment, sorry. Thank you for picking me up. Well, thanks, Mike. I'll get your comment. You volunteered.
Didn't really. Yeah, beautiful graphics and great separation of textures. It's the textures that really separate out.
Thank you. Next print, please. And I'll tell you about Mike as they judge this print. So Mike is a New Zealander based in Queenstown, where he runs the Queenstown Centre for Creative Photography with his photographer wife, Jackie Rankin. Mike's work and passion is travel, landscape photography and travel book publishing, with over 26 books to his name. He has been a professional photographer for over 35 years and an international awards judge for 27 years and a lecturer for 27 years. He is a Grand Master and Fellow of the Australian Institute of Professional Photography and a Grand Master, Honorary Fellow and Life Member of the New Zealand Institute of Professional Photography. He is also a Canon Master and has achieved the Australian Geographic Photographer of the Year, New South Wales AIPP Photographer of the Year. Just take a break here for a minute because I'm keeping going. AIPP Landscape Photographer of the Year twice, AIPP Travel Photographer of the Year twice, New NZIPP Photographer of the Year, NZIPP Corporate Industrial Photographer of the Year, NZIPP Landscape Photographer of the Year twice, and NZIPP Travel Photographer of the Year twice. I think he knows his stuff. Welcome to our panel, Mr. Langford. And this print in front of us has scored 84, which is a silver silver, which may be a silver distinction on review. So congratulations. Whew. David, could I get a comment from you, please?
Yes, really enjoying this one. The timing of capturing the guy going through with the blue jacket and the jeans is just superb. And hopefully it might get that extra mark when it goes
That's
next
right.
door.
Have to wait and see. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print has averaged 86, silver distinction. And very consistent numbers there. Maybe a comment from Julie.
Yeah, no, I felt I was on that boat with him. I think you just have that sense of being there on the evening, all the lights down the waterfront, the motion in his hands shows the action as he's rowing. I think it was really well portrayed, and the placement of the rower within the image and the surrounds, just fantastic.
Thank you very much, Julie. Next print, please. I don't. Thank you, judges. Print score 79. And again, we'll go for review at the end of the category. Quick comment, maybe Milton.
I found it really interesting to look at, like the contrast between the colours and the textures. I'm not actually quite sure what it is, to be honest, but it intrigues me, and
Okay.
I thought it was well captured.
Thank you, Milton. Next print, please. All right, scores are in. And the print has averaged 88. Silver distinction. I'll take the challenge from Milton. So Milton's on 93, and know that you're not alone because you've got Mike beside you and he's on 91. Go for it, Milton.
Cool. Well, they say great minds think alike, don't they? So we've got two. We've got two in the right range already. Look, this is just such a fantastic image. It just grabbed me as soon as I saw it. That the symmetry, the beautiful tones, that red, which is just glowing from the sun behind it. I think the crop that's been chosen is just amazing. It can be quite brave just to take out the rest of the balloon and just keep the bottom part, but I think it works so well, and you get this real beautiful panoramic scene of all these people. And when you go up close, you can see all the figures in the basket, and you can make out all the different characters. And I really found that I could almost feel what it was like to be there at that magical time of the day. It's just beautiful. It's beautifully handled, and the glow around that balloon is just incredible.
All right, thanks, Milton. I'm going to ask Julie for a comment. She's at the low end at 83.
The low end of a solid silver.
Yeah.
No, it's beautiful. It's just, I think, the really over brightness behind the balloon that prevents me from gold. I mean, I understand these are at the hour of day when the sun is low, and that you're going to have that. I just would have loved a little more subtlety in the mountains behind without that brightness. But it's exquisite. It's absolutely beautiful. It is awarded.
All right, then, Mike, you're agreeing with Milton there?
I am. I gave it gold because it's original. I haven't seen it before. It's a totally fresh way of seeing a subject that's often photographed. And the highlight, without that highlight burning out through there, we wouldn't have that really strong graphic that's being formed. The whole shape of it, the whole crop of it, is giving it making it into a graphic. And it's storytelling. It's time, place, and circumstance. There is nothing that I can actually take away from this. For me, I have no alternative but to give it gold.
Milton, you get a right of reply.
I think what Mike said, actually, that convinced me. Look, I'll take the point about the bright area, but as Mike said, I really think that helps to emphasise that, that silhouette of the basket and the characters in it. And again, like Mike said, I don't think I've ever seen a crop like this before, and I think it just makes the image so much stronger than it would have been. You could have gone, the easy route and shown the whole balloon, but I think that would have really taken away from, those characters who are just enjoying this really magical moment up in the air, which is what travel's all about, isn't it?
Okay, thank you, Milton. Now, the print is averaging 88 at the moment. Milton's score of 93 stays in place, and everyone else can rescore now. We now have a 91 Gold Award. Wonderful. Thank you. Can we have a blank screen for a moment, please? I have Tony, who is going to give Sue's going to do a public service announcement. We'll do some... See, I've read everyone's bios. Here we go. Sue, thank you, Sue. We love you. Yay. Come on. Yay. Come on. Nikon room 4. All right. Thank you, judges and print handlers. We'll have next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print scores 80, silver award. I might ask Mr. Langford, quick comment, please.
It's the yin and yang of this that works the dark side and the bright side.
Thank you. I'm going to do a quick judge change. Annie, you've been a stalwart for room 4. Have a break. Vittorio Natale. Va bene. Take a seat. Next print, please. This print scores 82, silver award. Comment from Mike.
Challenge.
Oh, hang on. Hang 10.
No?
Hang 10.
Ah.
No, you're only 4 points away. You have to be 5. Make a comment. That'd be lovely.
Yeah, the HDR element of this is what's giving it the strength. Really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print scores 83, silver award. Nice. And I might ask Vittorio for a quick comment.
A very lovely composed image, lot of strength in the all the stuff that's going on there with the lines from the stairs and the rails and the placement.
Thank you. Appreciate the comments. Next print, please. So in case you've just joined us, I know we've got some stalwarts in our, audience here. Good on you, hanging about, listening in. I know, you've done well. Been here all day. Good on you. But if you've just joined us live streaming, we are judging the travel category, and it is sponsored by Camera Electronic. So if you're here, they're over at stand 15, and they have stuff to sell and buy. Good stuff too. Scores are in. Average is 79, and we'll go for review at the end of the category. David, maybe a quick comment, please.
I think the photographer maybe might have it, but a second earlier, and the lady in the dark coat would have been right in that highlight. And I just think breaking into that line is just pulling us back from going to the silver category. So it's all about the decisive moment, and it's just a fraction out. But hey, they might have it.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Next print, please. So our judging panel is Julie Ewing, David Oliver, Vittorio Natoli, Mike Langford, and Milton Garn. Or is it Gann? It's Gann. It's Gann. So I can say it with my Australian accent. Gann. And it's a Western Sydney accent. So I am a Westie and proud. Down south from Parramatta. Campbelltown. But I live in Camden. There's a difference. Hello to any AIPP Macarthur group who might be listening, and I know Gemma's there. Hello to you all. Thank you, judges. Print has scored 83, silver award. And all very consistent numbers there, very consistent. So, Julie, would you like to give us a comment?
Yeah, it's a very interesting image. There's no OH&S involved whatsoever. It looks like a work site, and the women are the workers there, and bring the children along to play there too, with every danger possible. So just made it a really, I guess, also an interesting vision from the photographer who's travelling to take this picture. So bold entry and really well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print has scored 81, silver award. Milton, could I get a comment from you, please?
Yeah, I thought it was a beautiful capture. There's a really nice sense of almost freedom just in that movement, and just swinging up into the clouds.
Thank you. Next print, please. I'll give David a... Thank you, judges. Print scores 76. Mark, a comment, please.
I think had the flash not been used, it would have been a much more interesting image.
Thank you, Mike. Quick judge change, David. I'll give you a break and bring Peter Rossi back to the fold. And let's have next print, please. I like it. You can use either first name. Thank you, judges. Print scores 76. Can I get a comment from Peter? What might we be able to do if we wanted to move this into a award range?
Maybe it's working quite nicely with line and pattern, but I think there are other elements of a good photograph that could be brought in and would improve even with that exact cropping, like possibly a blurry bicycle driving through, or the back wheel of a red car, or something, just an extra little focus point to
The
draw some
magic
interest.
third element. Is that what we're after?
Or
Something
fourth
like
or
that?
fifth.
Or fifth. Lovely. Thank you, Peter. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print has scored, bing, 82, silver award. Yes, no challenges there, but I might ask Mike for a comment again, please.
It's the timing of the two people with the separation of the background person being slightly in front. It's just given up that extra credibility.
Lovely. Thank you. Next print, please. So in rooms 1 and 2, there are the pet and animal. Or maybe it's just room 2 from the look of that. Pet and animal category. We are travel here. And then, of course, there's the open book discussion way down the back. Our trade show is continuously running. And then we're back tomorrow for portrait and landscape category. Busy bees, aren't we? All right. Julie scores in, and we have an average of 83, silver award. Lovely. Peter, can I have a comment from you, please? Value-added comment.
I have heard of these lights, never seen them. Imagine it's extremely hard to photograph. I'm impressed with the reflection of the sky down in the water. I feel there's just a little bit it's a little heavy on the left side, and if maybe just a slight little movement of the camera to the left maybe would have balanced it a little more, or maybe some tighter cropping there. But 84 means I like it.
Yeah, means a good
And
score.
So it's been very well handled. Probably, well, I imagine it's a very technically hard picture to get so well in such low light.
Thank you, Peter. Next print, please. Scores are in, and the print has scored 83, silver award. Thank you, Peter. Yes, you're at 92. I will accept your challenge. And you've got 84, 85, 77 and 78.
You want in a travel photograph, or forget about travel, in a photograph. There is so much information. There's the determination, the reason for getting up in the morning is written all over the two people there. The mess is just so beautiful. You almost tiptoe through, it because of the sharpness and the treatment that's been given to it. It's pulling you in because there's detail, and when there's such interesting detail, you even go past the old lady whose job is to make the tea and keep the place running while the technician working on the street as he does. There's just full of beautiful information, but you even want to go down, even though there's slightly not a lot of room to get behind her, but you even got information back into the shop, and it just keeps pulling me around. Then I walk around behind the shop, come back out at the, I can't say the name there, on the side. It's everything just remains in the image. There's nothing pulling you away and not bringing you back. The balance of the details, the colour tones, the little splash of light on the sign and in the background. Surely this is more than an 83, and I'd really ask you to give it a silver distinction, if not gold.
Thank you, Peter. We'll go to Mike, who is at 77.
Professional standard is the way I scored it, and the reason for that is the eye really doesn't know where to go. It's there's certain degree the cropping's wrong because it's very weighted on the left-hand side, as you've already pointed out, Peter. The right-hand side, the crop's a bit tight on the lady. Also, the lady's not a decisive moment. It's a missed moment, and it's the clutter, it's the randomness that my eye isn't being forced to see something. Everything is being treated quite equally. I do totally admit it's a professional standard, but beyond that, I can't see it, I'm sorry.
Okay then. Vic, can I have a comment from you, please?
Yeah, I really like this image for many reasons. A lot of the things that Peter said, that light coming in from the back is really interesting because it really takes me into that room, whatever it is, where the lady's making the tea. The electrical appliances, it's travel. The appliances, whether it's a husband and wife team that are working, it's obvious the balance is, to me, it's very, very nice. The colours are dragging me in on the fans or lights or whatever it is. They're individually pinpointed. The signage really tells me about the place and the surrounding. The authenticity of the image, it's not overly stylized or overly complex. It's really just trying to show me in situ what is. I've seen things like that in my travel. So often it's very easy to overlook things like that as if, I don't understand what it is or it's all too messy, but that messiness is actually the reality of what it is. It's actually complete with that, in my opinion. So I think it's a good image.
Okay, thank you, Vic. Yes, you want to say something quickly, Julie?
Yeah, I may not be gold, but I'm happy to move up to silver with distinction in it because I actually really, really like this image, and I find the chaos, which is so different to our culture, gives it a real cultural side and a real addition to a travel image. I think, again, the OH&S that, just we're so over the top with it here, and here he is, the poor fellow, he bends down, doubled over to work on his fans and things, which just tells a whole story about a whole different life, so completely different to ours. I really love the colours, and it's got some vintage appeal to it. So I'm looking at it as silver with distinction.
All right, Peter, right of reply.
Yes, I would love to see it as silver distinction. Mike, for me, this space, the so-called emptiness on the left, that's your entry point. If that was full up with more of that stuff, it would be like you can't get in. It's just there's nowhere to go. Stand back and keep out. Whereas this, it allows you in. Now you tiptoe through this. There's enough space to walk around. The fact that she is tight, and I know I did allude to it, that you can flat out get in, but more I think about it, it is a cluttered society or a cluttered shop style. That's how it is. There's another worker there working that shop. And so it is tight. Even when you're walking around there, it's tight. So that adds to the tightness of it, which is what it's all about, showing clutter and things. I think it's clearly a silver distinction. I know I shouldn't talk things down. As I went for a closer look, there is a little bit of slippery stuff in the background, which usually I would have picked up. I didn't pick up on it on the first time. So, but a strong silver distinction, please. But for the author, maybe they could just slightly rework it, because I don't think that so-called slippery element in the out of focusness part of the background could be tended to, and maybe it might get gold next time round.
Okay.
But that's silver distinction.
Thank you, Peter. It's currently scoring 83, so Peter has to sit back on his original score, but everyone else may rescore. And we now have a solid silver distinction, 87. Very nice. We'll do a quick judge change. Julie, looking at my numbers here, you are just a powerhouse. You are. So have a break, have a stretch, and Annie Payne is coming back to the panel. And we'll go next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print scores 78. Milton, can I ask for a comment, please?
I liked the quirkiness of this. I loved that little camel's head, which is just peeking above the wall of the guy. I found that really quirky.
Thank you. All right, next print, please. Thank you, judges. This print scores 75. Can I ask Annie for a comment, please?
Yeah, I think the lighting and I mean it's an amazing moment with the light coming through, but the handling of it in the print is just not up into the award standard.
Thank you, Annie. Let's go next print, please. And I can actually tell you about Vittorio Natoli, who is on our panel. So Vittorio is a driven, passionate and inspiring photographer with a successful career spanning 35 years. He is renowned for his achievements not only as a photographer, winning multiple state and national awards, but also as an entrepreneurial businessman. He is best known as the founder of Australian brand Viva Photography that was started in 1991. Viva is Australia's premium wedding and portrait photography franchise with 10 studios nationwide, both in WA and Victoria. As a former president of WA AIPP and now president of the AIPP, a grandmaster photographer who has won numerous photographic awards over the years. Vittorio's accomplishments include 1998 WA Wedding Photographer of the Year, 2003 WA Wedding Photographer of the Year, 2005 Wedding Contemporary Photographer of the Year, 2007 WA Illustrative Photographer of the Year, and in 2012 WA Landscape Photographer of the Year, and WA Photographer of the Year. So someone, again, who knows his stuff. Can we congratulate Vittorio and welcome him to our panel? All right. This picture in front of us here, by majority, has scored 85, a silver distinction. Very good. Happy Jan? All right. Comment then maybe from Peter, please.
Isn't that interesting? I was at this place earlier this year. There's a certain familiar, well, who knows, there may be those type of panels, but that escalator looks familiar. Nothing to do with I don't know who's photographed it or etc. I find extremely strong the fact that it's really just blacks and off-whites. The power of the finger is so strong and pulling you into the centre there. The fact that there is a little connection between the finger pointer and the listener there, but just and the rest of people as they do in that country that I was in there. They all go about their world. They all look after each other beautifully. It's such a polite, beautiful place to be, and there's that piece in there. The lovely strong diagonals are great. The geometrics are pulling me through, and the shadows there. Even the close-up woman who's escalating to the left.
Thank you, Peter. Nice comments. We'll accept that, and we'll accept that score and go next print, please. And I should remind our judges, we do have that judging scoring guide. Gives you a bit of an idea of words to look at and words to relate to when we make our comments. Travel category. And I just saw Kim Harding walk past the door. Has everyone seen Kim? She's not working behind the scenes because she's due to have a baby in the next couple of weeks. So say hello to Kim if you see her. Thank you, judges. Print scores 82, silver award. Challenge from Vic. Vic's on 88. All the other judges are low 80s.
I think it's a little bit better than that, and I think we really should be going for a strong silver distinction on this one, if we can. The masks are absolutely fascinating, and the composition is amazing. The crack in that front mask, just the way that it's centered, the way that it's all working together, the two heads, the face, and also the eyes. The eyes in the central image, the eyes. There's another story in behind the facade of the of that mask. I just find the people in the background that are in the dilapidated building, the set of 4 people or whatever they are looking on out of focus, the colour, the orange, the colour. It's just an incredible colour. With the lips of the central mask and the teeth in the complementing masks. I just find the composition. If I was a little bolder, I'd almost ask for gold. This is it's a capture of travel. Someone has seen this and had the ability to go in close with potentially a little wide lens, 35 or something. I don't know. I'm guessing. It doesn't need to be accurate, but what it's portraying to me is travel, and it's getting up there. But the duality of the person coming in from behind the mask is really intriguing to me, and how the eyes are lit up. So I'm asking everyone to have a look at it.
Thanks, Vittorio. We'll go to Mike for a comment, please.
I'm happy to support you on this. I think it's a really bold photograph. Love the bulbous nature of the what the lens has done to the face. It's stretched it out. It's made it 3-dimensional. We have a sense of place. We certainly have something that's in your face in many levels and worthy going up.
Okay. If there's no other comments from our other judges, nothing to add, I'll give Vic a right of reply. Nothing, unless there's nothing more to say.
Oh, I just want you to value it for what it is, and it's difficult sometimes to get a single capture like that, and just to be able to get all that in frame, spontaneously with all of those elements taken into account. So I think Silver Distinction isn't far from where we are.
Thanks, Vic. Your score of 88 will stay in place, and our other judges may rescore. The image was scoring 82. It now scores 85. Silver Distinction. Thank you. Next print, please. Milton scores in. Print scores 84. Silver award. Thank you. And I might ask Annie, could I have a quick comment?
Yeah, I thought this was a solid silver. The placement or the choosing of taking the photo at that moment where the bright subject is, and then there's other elements leading you up, and then where the dog is at the top and at the side. There's lots of little stories in there, and it's beautifully captured.
Thank you, Annie. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print scores 87. Silver Distinction with a challenge from Annie. Annie's on 90. And you've got some nice scores there. You've got an 84, 88, 88 and an 85. Thanks, Annie.
Yes, not much work to do, I don't think. I think that, this is amazing. It's really very unique. And has got so many different levels of taking me into the gold, for reasons for taking me into the gold range. I love the graphic design of it that the photographer has brought to it, and all the little stories in there, and also really focusing on the category that we're in, the travel category, little snippets of the icons, I guess, of travelling, like the takings of the photos and the fishing and lots of little stories going on in there. And I love the diagonal of the fishing rod leading you up to the top right, and then that brings you right to the photographer and then back around again to the other diagonal. So many elements in there that really put it straight into gold for me.
Thanks, Annie. Peter, can I hear from you, please, on 84?
I'm still listening for more advantages. I see all of that. I do appreciate it. I am enjoying it. Whether it's superior in its nature, I'll listen a little further.
I'll ask Mike Langford first. He put his hand up first, Vic.
Yeah, I'm going to 90 on this as well. And the more I look at it, the more the story is told to me. And it's a travel story. But what I like most about it is the decision that the photographer has made to crop the top two photographs so that we don't have the post coming down. So the whole thing has been very intelligently created to give us a story that's not interrupted. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Do you have anything to add, Vic?
So there's more here. There's more here for me as far as superior in vision, craft, skill, and all the other things. So the life of a bridge, the life of a walkway bridge, and its many uses over time. It's used for transportation of the fishermen, implying also that the fishermen may be fishing there. Potentially it could be a bride walking through, a family photographer taking a photograph. There's so many elements here. The graphic nature of that's been spoken about, the fact that the poles aren't central and they could have easily been. The silhouette idea, it's novel. I certainly haven't seen anything like this, but I like the idea of someone taking me through potentially the many uses and the many applications of something that's potentially could have been pedestrian.
Thanks, Vic. I'll go back to Annie for her right of reply.
Yeah, I feel like the photographer has not only seen this location and the moments, but also added more and more to that by putting it together the way they have with this seamless kind of flow of a story. And it's not just about one of those elements, it's about all of them put together. The other element that I love about it is the vulnerability of the planks of woods, and it doesn't look quite sturdy, and which gives it that real element as well. It's it's fabulous on many levels.
All right, then. The image is currently averaging 87, and Annie wants a little bit more. She's on 90. Can our judges rescore now? Every one of our judges moved into the gold range. We have 91 gold award. Nice one. Thank you. On that note, Milton, I'm going to give you a break. You've been there for a while, and welcome Steve Scalone back to our panel. Let's have next print, please. So I'm just changing our judges so that you know, in position 1 we've got Annie Payne, then there's Peter Rossi, Vittorio Natoli, Mike Langford, and now I'm putting in Steve Scalone. There he is. And this is the travel category, proudly sponsored by Camera Electronics. Go and see them on stand 15. They might be based in Perth, WA, but they said they will send anywhere in Australia for free. How good's that? Thank you, judges. Print scores 81, Silver Award. Right. A comment from Vic, please.
It's travel, really. You walk into these situations all over the world. I don't know. You find people doing what they do. The separation from the shop owner to the worker, the cycles, the placement, the strength. It's nice.
Thank you. Next print, please. Yeah, I have no lollies to throw at people. I can't ask questions of the crowd and throw lollies at them for correct answers. I'm disappointed now. I'll have to look at that for tomorrow. Might have to go up the IGA, get some bags of lollies. Look out. Hang on. Kitty Foo might be able to find me some contraband out the back. Kitty Foo, get me some chocolates. I'm gonna ask. Thank you, judges. Print scores 77. May I have a comment? Thank you, Mike.
It would have been much stronger had there been a point of one of those people doing something significant. They're all just randomly doing things. Another moment would have been much better.
Thank you, Mike. Next print, please. And I have a picnic here on offer. Picnicker. Let me think of a question. Thank you, judges. Print scores 84, a silver award. And we'll be going for review. So, oh yeah, Vic, a comment, that would be lovely.
Just a comment?
Yes, because you can't challenge, unfortunately. You're only 4 away from that average score.
Okay, beautiful placement. Obviously in Italy, outside a significant building, Vittorio Emanuele II building.
That's how you say it.
And we have all of these people holidaying and just sitting there and doing whatever it is that they do. But the individual stories is just so beautiful because you are capturing just what is, and the timing, the decisive moment is there.
Thanks, Vic. Or Vittorio. Next print, please. All right, crowd. Who can name the 3 platinum sponsors of the AIPP APA 2017? No, yeah, come on, tell me. Not you, behind you, David. Yay, you win a picnic. Olympus, Aeon, and a Panasonic. Hey? I found a bit of I'm a good throw, aren't I? No, I'm a bad throw. I missed you. Whoosh. Smell the peanuts as they fly past your head. Okie doke. This print scores 85, a silver distinction. Very nice. Steve, comment.
I feel it's an exquisite image. Just really subtle yet really bold and graphic. Gorgeous, beautiful composition, ingenuity plus. Well done.
Thank you, Steve. We'll accept that score and ask for the next print, please. That'll work well. Contraband. You might have to give something to Julie. She needs a sugar fix. It's who you know. We've got a dealer. Thank you, judges. Print scores 78. You look worried, Peter. A comment. We can't challenge, but a comment from you would be lovely.
What I absolutely love about this is probably something more than the photographer even may have thought they were capturing, is that this fellow with his canoe can go through and make little ripples for a little tiny while, but in the big picture it makes no difference. So there's almost like an insignificance of even being there and doing your stuff. Or isn't it great that we don't impede on nature that much that we have to leave our mark? but maybe that's just something I saw and it was a strength, and I gave it a silver for that. But I think it's too heavy on the. I almost think more squares wouldn't hurt.
Okay. Thank you,
Squares
Peter.
are lovely.
Excellent. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print averages 83. Silver award. Mike, can I have a brief comment?
It's about culture, it's about travel, it's subtle, it's very unusual.
Thank you. Next print, please. Good comments, Mike. See, you're fast, you're short, sharp, succinct. Boom. That's right. Thanks, Vittorio. Image scores 78. Maybe some feedback, how we could kick this over into the award range. Steve?
I feel it's professional practice. It's a great angle and an interesting viewpoint. Perhaps a decisive moment, unlike my comment just then, could actually be better used.
Thank you, Steve. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print scores 85. Silver distinction with a challenge from Mike on 92.
I haven't seen this before. Just the idea of someone seeing this pattern on the ground and then being prepared to wait for perfection to happen, which is what's happened here. Perfection's happened and they've caught it. So they've pre-visualized, they've had the patience, and we are seeing something very original. It's gold.
Annie?
I don't like being the bad guy, but yeah, I'm sorry, Mike. I feel like that the location has been found. That's great, but I feel like where the people are positioned or have been, waited to be there, there's just too much of a disconnect with the continuity of the composition for me. It doesn't draw me in, and I feel like it's just like a bit of luck rather than strong composition.
I might ask for a comment from... you're all fighting. Pooh, pooh. Go, Peter.
Mike, I'm tending up towards you too, and I was flitting around with it. The UFO, octopus, squid, whatever you want to call it, that's pulling people into its magical powers or letting them go, as with one guy through there. You could not compose that more brilliantly in that, with that shape there. That object is absolutely lovely, and it just keeps drawing you in. Possibly, well, who's to say whether more or less people, but it's really, really strong. Yep. I'll go.
Vic, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think it's really well placed and found. You know, to balance an image like that with all, it's a most complex image to balance, but it's perfectly balanced. And I'd have to agree with Mike as far as the placement, then the timing and waiting for the elements or the people to walk in or walk out in all those places. The octopus thing, yes, but it's more than that. You would expect it to be flat, or you'd be expected to be like a grid format, yeah? But the corners are working very well. All the lines are leading out exactly where they're supposed to lead. The off-centre black and white, you know, the nucleus or whatever it is in the middle is very, very powerful. And those people being trapped or found in that particular place, I would not even think of how you could better balance this.
Okay, Mike, right of reply.
Yeah, thanks for the word luck, Annie, because to any great photograph there has to be a certain amount of luck, and I think the luck does exist in this photograph. The visual balance of this is the key, because they've composed the photograph so that the black centre is off-centred to balance out the people. So it's not just luck, it's a matter of visual perception, and I think this is superior. Please come gold.
Okay, you are sitting on gold, Mike, so sit back, relax for a minute. Our other judges may rescore. You're a sweet talker. We have a gold 90. Well done. Congratulations. Thank you. Next print, please. This print scores 83, silver award. Annie, can I ask you for a comment?
Yeah, I think this is a really well seen travel picture of a popular tourist place, and the colour balance is really nice as well.
Thanks, Annie. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print scores 83, silver award. Happy with that score? All right, I'll accept it. Maybe just a comment from Mike.
Yeah, the drama is very eye-appealing. The colour balance is great. Successful.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print scores 82, silver award. Maybe a quick comment from Peter. You can refer to the back of the guide if you need some words to give you help. Not really? Maybe?
I wonder sometimes with categories like this that we're not carried away too much with the borrowed interest of an artist or an architect's creation, and
keep going.
And in that, that being the strength of the image. And yes, the photographer did have to actually locate that, but usually there's signs saying, used to say Kodak moment, or, you know, go this way for the best shot of the museum.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I feel that, what are you asking me for? A tip?
A tip,
for
yeah, a value-added proposition perhaps for the author. Perhaps, I mean, 82 is a good score, but is there something that we could do that might give it a few extra points?
Possibly
perhaps?
5 milliseconds, and the head of the man walking into the space under the wing would clearly define him, and
Perfect, that'll
could
do.
create questions
Love
of why
it.
is he leaving.
Thank you, Peter. Let's go next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print has, by majority, scored 80, a silver award. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to ask Vic for a brief comment, and I'm going to swap Mike for David Oliver. Thanks, Vic.
I think the treatment is really nice. Also, the obviously the sky, that coloured sky, whatever it's called, the aurora, and all the lights. Yeah, it's quite most unusual with the white in the trees, whatever it is, snow or.
Thank you. All right, we'll accept that score and go to next print, please. So I've done a quick judge change. So we've got Annie Payne, Peter Rossi, Vittorio Natoli, David Oliver's come on for a spell, and Steve Scalone. What am I doing? David. My surname. This print scores 83, silver award. Excellent. David, can I hear from you? Just brief comment.
Yeah, just love the strong graphics of the verticals on the train and the vertical column, but then you've got the train driver as well, so it's just a bit of everything. Just perfectly centered.
Thank you. Next print, please. This print scores 84, silver award. And we'll go for review. Thank you. Yes, Peter.
Had the black back post been not in line with the spire, just a slight shift of photographer. I know that you've got a brilliant subject that's moving at however fast, but that is just too perfect a line-up. And but I do love the 4 strong elements, but to have 2 of them perfectly in line almost seems a waste.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Next print, please. You want to step off? Thank you, judges. Print scores 82, silver award. And very, very tight scores there. I might ask Milton for a quick... No, give us a comment before you leave.
Thanks, Carly. Thank you. Really nice composition, lots of detail, and just a really nice sort of quite intense look on that boy's face.
Thank you, Milton. Next print, please. Thank you. By majority, we have a score of 85, silver distinction. Okay, I'll accept that score and maybe a brief comment from David Oliver.
Yeah, just perfectly captured with that little highlight on the central post there, just holding it all together. Great composition.
Thanks, David. Next print, please. So if you're still with us, we are judging the travel category, sponsored by Camera Electronic. So room 3 and 4 is the travel category. Lots of pictures in this category. People have been to lots of holidays this year or in the last 2 years. Makes you jealous, doesn't it? And I think there's pets and animals in room 1 and 2 if you're on live stream. But it's nice to be here in room 4. We're in the Nikon room. Look at all the lenses. Thank you, judges. By majority, print scores 79. Yes, you may challenge, Annie. And it did average 80, but you're on 84, so you may challenge. Go for
Let's just tip it over. Yeah, I really enjoyed the colour palette and the composition and the little storytelling going in there with the rounded windows and the time of day, the photographer. For me, all came together to make a good, strong, solid silver.
Okay, Peter, you had a different view.
In as much as I do enjoy the green, red, green, blue, the drama in the sky, I feel it is way oversaturated, and that is showing in the print that it's the print ink paper isn't handling that oversaturation. They've just screeched it up a little bit too strongly for me. Okay. And so I can't see detail into that beautiful red trees there that would have been there in the capture.
Vic, do you have anything to add to the comments? You're in silver.
Yeah, It's on the border of overworked, underworked. It's not underworked. But it needs that. For me, it needs that colour, that saturation, that density. There is drama in the sky. The top third with the drama in the sky, the background, the bottom third with the house, the trees, the grass. I think, what did we give it? I think it needs to go to silver. We're on 79.
Annie, right of reply.
Yeah, I think there's just the right amount of balance of elements in there that give us the detail in the building. It's actually, quite about the building as much as the landscape to me, and that's what really brought it into that silver range for me.
Thanks, Annie. Now it's currently majority 79, but average 80, and Annie's on 84. Can our other 4 judges please rescore? And it does move up to 81, silver award. Well done, Annie. Thank you. Next print, please. Stepping in for one. Thank you, judges. Print scores by majority 84, silver award. And we'll go for review. It did actually average 85. So maybe, David, you're on 85. Brief comment.
Yeah, really well found, well captured. Love the yellow posts and those 3 little aerials sitting on top of the hill. It sort of held it all together for me.
Thank you. Next print, please. Yeah, thanks, Milton. That was Thank you, judges. Print scores 81, silver award. Steve, can I have a brief comment, please?
Beautiful colours and exquisite texture. Well done.
Thank you. Next print, please. Yep. Thank you, judges. Print scores 82, silver award. Thank you. Annie, can I ask a comment from you, please?
Yeah, this is beautifully seen. I thought from back here it was like a big shark coming out of the middle of the landscape. But yeah, I love the symmetry and the subtle reflections there as well.
Thanks, Annie. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print scores 86, a silver with distinction. Very nice. Now, there's no challenges, but I'm going to just ask for a comment. I'll just go to Peter. Can I have a brief comment?
Yeah, just to show my mental workings on this. I was captivated by the bars, and therefore it felt like somebody's being kept from something inside there. So that was interesting. The triangle coming in on the side, the umbrella. Wow, that's pointing to the lady and creating an interest. And then the little black blob, which I'm sure everybody almost went in, out, and to me, in, yes. It just balances the woman's black outfit. Yeah, very well done. As to how it could earn more points, maybe a gradation in the sky with a little bit of strength at the top would keep your interest down and not just floating away.
Okay. Thank you, Peter. We'll accept that score of 86. Congratulations to the photographer. Next print, please. Thank you, Peter. Waiting on your score. Print score's 79. And we'll go for review. Brief comment. Can I ask Vic, please?
I think I would have enjoyed it more if it wasn't printed down so much.
Thanks, Vic. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Print scores 83, silver award. Challenge from David. David's out there on 92. I'll tell you what you're working with: 79, 78, 84 and 83.
Okay. As a simple... graphically, it just works beautifully. The symmetry, the composition, the verticals, they're just perfect. The lighting, it's just so subtle. You just want to go there and see this church. And then, for that person to be walking through, just perfectly captured, dead center in the doorway. It's really, really working for me. And again, wearing those subtle tones, the blue jeans, the red top, by the looks of things, which is sort of working with the color palette. We talk about luck. That's luck, isn't it? Like someone coming through with exactly the right clothing, but you've got to be there to capture it and see it. And that's what this photographer has done, and kept everything perfectly vertical. Well done.
Annie, can I hear from you? You're on 79.
Yeah, I agree with you on the colour palette. However, I think for strong professional practice, that's what I gave it, strong professional practice 79, but to go into an award range, it really needs to be sharp and handled well, and the top of the frame is not sharp, and I think for this kind of architectural image, we really need to see that all the way through. And also the detail in the window at the top, which is an important part of the structure as well.
Peter.
Yeah, I have to agree more with Annie. It feels extremely degenerated, all the detail up in the top. No stained glass window, which is what these sort of buildings are famous for. I feel the whole cropping is way too tight. It's like confining me instead of expanding me in this beautiful big building. It's like I can't even see it all. The chairs are cut, the sides are cut, the top of the arch is cut, and then the guy might be wearing a very interesting coloured outfit, but to me there's not a tie-in with the mood of his body language and the mood of the building. He's like walking through at 100 mile an hour, looking up to the body language and working with it. A different body language would have enhanced the awe of it. It's like he can hardly even hang around to look at it. The 100th church this trip or something. I don't know. There's not the respect coming from his body language for the place, and so that to me is too many things for it to go into the awards.
Thanks, Peter. We'll go to Vic for a quick comment.
Peter, I think there might be the respect you're looking for. If you look at that central figure, that is the only thing that I'm interested in. It's holding me like you wouldn't believe. And if I look at the neck, and you said it's pointing up. It's pointing to the vertical lines of everything else. It's not about the light coming through the window. It's the photographer's 1,000 miles away, and he's caught something, and the enormity of the situation has allowed that person to look up, and that looking up is the decisive moment. And I am stuck on that central figure, as small as it is. That's the thing that's bringing everything else in for me.
All right, David, you get a final word.
Yeah, just briefly, I think it is all about that figure, and I don't see him as a tourist. I think he could be a worker. He could be one of the tradesmen working at the church, and he's just walking through, and he would be walking through quickly, and whereas a tourist would be taking time. And just that looking up is that decisive moment when he's connecting with the composition above him, and that's what I was enjoying. It's very, very subtle. Will be been cut off.
Yeah, we're cutting you off.
I knew this would be a mixed numbers.
All right, well, let's see how we go. So David's score of 92 remains. Other judges, please rescore. The average is currently 83. And we've moved up to 84, so it will go for review. There's a chance. Thank you. I'm going to ask for a blank screen. It is 4:30. We are going to take a break. I need my judges back here at 5 o'clock sharp. We will begin there soon after. But please take a break. Go and see the trade one last time for today. And we will be back here with the travel category very, very shortly. Thank you. So I won't accept that. I'll leave that there. Thank you. So they might want that score, just if they want to handwrite 84.